If you have Googled how to become an AI engineer in the last 12 months, you have already wasted 30 minutes doing so. Not because the information was not there, because most of it was built for the wrong version of you. I've trained hundreds of data and AI professionals, and the ones who stalled did not stall because they were not smart enough. They stalled because they started in the wrong place. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to fix that with a roadmap built around your specific background. And by the 2-minute mark, you will know exactly which of the three parts is yours. Here is what is actually happening to most people trying to break into AI engineering. They finish courses, they earn certificates, but their GitHub stays empty. Or they go deep on theory. They learn transformers, attention mechanism, they model architecture before they can even make a single API call. Like spending 6 months studying structural engineering and showing up on day one unable to use a drill. Or the most expensive mistake, they follow someone else's path entirely. A beginner using a senior developer's curriculum is not going to arrive late. They are going to arrive at the wrong destination. And that last one is the AI's engineer's real domain. That is what organizations are paying for right now. So all these three mistakes have one fix. It is this framework I built training professionals, and I call it the bridge framework. And this has 3 stages. Stage one, the foundation, knowing which of the bank you are starting from. Stage two, the span, 5 skills every AI engineer needs, regardless of their background. And stage three, the crossing, the stage most people never actually reach. So stay with me, because the span contains one skill that most data scientists and developers are missing. And it is the reason most AI applications never survive contact with real user. Let's get started. Stage one, the foundation. The bridge metaphor is deliberate. AI engineering is the act of building a bridge. On one side of the river, a powerful AI model. On the other, a real world problem that needs solving. And your job is not to build the model, your job is to build the bridge. And the first question any bridge builder must answer is, which bank are you starting from? There are 3 banks that I want to mention here. Bank one, the beginner. You are new to programming, new to AI, new to data. You know these tools matter. You want it, but you do not know where to start. But the good news, you have no bad habits to unlearn. You are building on fresh grounds. What you need first, Python basics, an understanding of how API works, and a picture of what AI systems actually looks like. That is your first floor. If that is you, that is your path. If you write code for a living, your gap is different, and it is probably not what you expect. Bank one. Starting point B, the developer. You write code for a living. You know Python, JavaScript, Go, a backend framework. You understand how software systems are built and deployed. But the gap for you is not the technical depth. It is the AI specific knowledge. You do not yet know how to prompt reliably, how to evaluate model outputs, or how to architect a system where AI is the component rather than the whole product. You do not need to start from scratch. You need to add one new layer, one more starting point. This one has the steepest learning curve, not technically, but mentally. The third starting point, the data scientist. Maybe you build models, you know statistics, you write Python, you have worked with real data sets, but your work has historically ended at the model. A developer or a machine learning engineer took it from there. The shift into AI engineering asks you to do something you may never have had to do before. Think about deployment, about latency, about what happens when the model is wrong in production. This is uncomfortable at first, but it gets easier once you know what you're looking for. We have talked about the starting points now, the 3 starting points. If this roadmap is making AI engineering feel real, the next step is actually building. I've used DataCamp myself for years, and I keep recommending it because the learning is hands-on, short lessons, coding in the browser, instant feedback, and guided projects instead of passive videos. If you are a developer, their associate AI engineer for developers track is a great fit. You'll learn to build AI apps with the OpenAI API, Hugging Face, LangChain, embeddings, and vector databases, plus the LLM-ops basics that turn prototypes into reliable systems. If you are moving from data science into AI engineering, their associate AI engineer for data scientist track focuses on the production side of PyTorch, Hugging Face, Llama 3, MLOps, testing, and Git. And if you're starting from zero, there is no problem. Their AI fundamentals give you a no-code base in ChatGPT, machine learning, LLMs, generative AI, and ethics with certification options available. If you want a structured path that matches your background, check out DataCamp in the description. There is a track for wherever you're starting from. Now let's move to the second stage, stage 2, which is what? The span. The span is the part of the bridge that crosses the river. Every AI engineer, whether you're a beginner, you're a developer, or a data scientist, builds the same span, 5 core skills. If you're missing any one of them, your bridge has a gap. Skill 1, API integration. Every AI model you work with, GPT, Claude, Gemini, is assessed through an API. If you cannot write a clean API call, handle errors, or structure a well-formed request, you cannot build anything. This is the drill. Learn to use it before you think about the word. Skill 2, reliable prompting. Not the magic words version of prompting, the engineering version. This means structuring a system prompt that produces consistent output, using a few short examples to shape the model's behavior, handling the cases where the model does exactly what you asked, but not what you meant. Reliable prompting is a craft. It is learned through repetition, not intuition. Skill 3, retrieval augmented generation. This is the skill that changes how you think about AI applications entirely. RAG is the technique that connects an AI model to your own data. Without RAG, your application answers questions from general training data. With RAG, it answers from your organization's specific documents, your database, your knowledge base. For any professional or enterprise use case, this is not optional. Skill 4, evaluation. And here is it. The skill almost no platform teaches, and the one that will cost you a client or cost you your credibility if you ship without it. This is the skill that separates AI engineers from people who build demos. How do you know when your application is working well enough to ship? How do you know to detect regressions? Cases where a model updates makes your product worse. How do you measure something as objective as response quality? Evaluation is a discipline. It is not glamorous. But if it is what keeps you from shipping something that embarrasses you or your organization. And the fifth skill under the second stage, development basics. An AI application running only on your laptop is a prototype, not a product. You need to know how to wrap your application in an API, know how to containerize it simply, and how to get it running somewhere that other people can actually reach. You do not need to be a DevOps engineer. You need to know enough not to be blocked by the basics. So these 5 skills, that is the span of your bridge. Every real project you build, we use all 5 in some combinations. And now the final stage, the crossing. This is the stage that actually gets you hired or gets you the client or proves to yourself that you are capable of this. The crossing is where most people stop short. They have done the courses, they have the certificates, but they do not cross the bridge. The crossing is a project, one specific real project that combines at least 3 of the 5 span skills and solves a problem for a real person. So here is my specifications. These are not suggestions. Your project must solve a real problem for a specific type of person. Imagine a teacher, a small business owner, a recruiter, someone you can name. Use at least one AI API connected to the real data, not demo data sets, not a tutorial exercise. Be deployed somewhere publicly accessible, even if it just means a link you can send on WhatsApp. That is the minimum viable crossing. An AI tool that helps a primary school teacher generate 10 comprehension questions from any uploaded text, deployed, working, shared, is worth more to a hiring manager or a client than every certificate in the world. Do one real project, ship it, document what you built and why. That is your crossing. I want to say one thing before we close. AI engineering is not a destination, it is a posture. Every professional I have watched fail at this transition. It was not a skills problem, it was attitudinal. They wanted to finish, to arrive, to be done with the learning. But the tool change. The tools, they change. The models improve. What was best practice 18 months ago is already partially obsolete. The bridge framework gives you enough structure to start moving, not to stop moving. Build one thing, ship it. That is how bridges are built, one crossing at a time. So here is where you are now. You know your starting bank. You know the 5 skills, and you know what a crossing looks like. So this week, do one thing. Open a blank document. Write down which starting point is yours. Then write down which of these 5 span skills you already have and which ones are missing. That gap list is your roadmap, not a Google search, not a generic course. That specific gap list. The DataCamp tracks are in the description, one for each of the starting points I mentioned earlier. At the start of this video, I said you had wasted 30 minutes Googling. The people who figure this out fastest are not the ones who search longer. They are the ones who start building sooner. Start building this week. See you again.